Look, I never imagined that my life would turn this chaos. But you know what they say, right? Game played, bent game. I always trusted my cousin. We grew up together, we share secrets, clothes, even boyfriend we commented. But apparently, she wanted a lot more than commenting on my husband. She wanted him all. The discovery came as dirty as possible. A notification appeared on his cell phone as he bathed. Curious, I took the cell phone, and there it was. Nudes, proposals, messages of moans, all coming from my cousin. At the time, my blood boiled. I wanted to go to her house and rub that cell phone in her face. But I took a deep breath. Make Shaq? No, that was little. Revenge me the right way? That looked more enjoyable. If she wanted to take something out of me, I was going to make her prove her own poison. I was going to get her boyfriend. And I was going to make her watch a box. And no, it wasn't just a little game. I was going to make him moan my name, just like she wanted to hear my husband's. If it was a game she wanted to play, then that wins the best. We always suspect, right? Woman feels when there is something wrong. My husband walked strange. A long time on the cell phone, laughs without reason, turning the screen when I got close. But I never imagined that the reason was my own cousin. The notification appeared on his cell phone while he was in the bath. Did you like the last photo, baby? That gave me a shiver. Who would have the courage to send something like this to a married man? I took the phone and unlocked without thinking twice. What I saw made me want to vomit. She, my cousin, sending her picture of lingerie, saying she wanted to show much more, asking if he liked bolder women. My hand trembled. My heart fired. I didn't know if I shouted, if I broke my cell phone, if it went straight to her house to pull out those fake hair. I was possessed. Betrayal already hurts, but when it comes from someone in the family who has always been by your side, it hurts in a different way. But instead of freaking out, I took a deep breath. If she wanted to play Home's Destroyer, then I was going to teach her the true meaning of that word. I could have set up a shack. He could have exposed that naughty for the whole family. But no, this would be very easy for her. I wanted her to feel the taste of betrayal on her skin. So I started watching her boyfriend. A beautiful guy, one who draw attention when they enter. The environment, tall, strong, that scumbag look that I knew it was combining with my play. And the best, he always looked at me differently. If she wanted to play, I was going to play the game the right way. I started paying him more. Subtle compliments, long laughs, an extra touch on the arm. Do you know that look that makes anyone tremble inside? Then, I knew how to use it. And it didn't take long to realize that he was falling right on my trap. He started answering me differently. He sent messages, made double-meaning jokes, and I, of course, just encouraged. The more he approached, the more I had fun. His gaze changed. The way of talking to me was more intimate. I saw the desire growing. He wanted to, and I was going to, make it worth it. Revenge was not just a plan. Now it was a pleasure, and I wanted more, much more. The game was just beginning, and I already felt the adrenaline running through my body. I knew I couldn't go very thirsty to the pot. Men like conquest, to feel in control, and I needed to make him think it was all his idea. I started, slowly, casual conversations, a compliment here, a touch there. I laughed at his jokes, looked into the eyes, bit his lips subtly as he spoke. With each meeting, I felt that he was increasingly comfortable with me. Confirmation came on a specific day. We were at my aunt's house, any family lunch. He came to sit beside me, and when no one was looking, let his hand to brush into mine. It was a quick touch, but I understood the message. "You're different today," he said with that naughty smile in the corner of his mouth. "Ah, is it? What do you mean?" I answered, pretending innocence. He looked at me from head to head. "I don't. No. I just know I'm enjoying it." I smiled and threw my hair aside. "Good to know." He ran his tongue on his lips, as who already wondered where it was going to give. He was already falling, and I was just warming up. Now that he was in my control, it was time to climb the level. The messages were bolder. A compliment to my perfume, a pity you are forbidden, a fire emoji in the middle of the conversation. I pretended innocence, but responded in the same coin. It was in one of these exchanges that he made the first boldest move. If your cousin knew what I think when I see you, she was going to freak out. I laughed as you read that. The bastard was already delivered. Ah, is it? And what do you think? He was slow to answer, but when the notification arrived, I knew. The game had changed. That I should find you away from curious eyes. I bit my lip. He wanted, and so I started to cross his way more. Smile in a provocative way, he took his arm when he spoke. The desire in his gaze only grew. One night in a bar, he approached in the ear and whispered, "What if we stopped just talking?" I felt the hot breath in my neck. The game had become sparkle, and then came the inevitable moment. A marked meeting, a secret between us. The game was not just warming up. Now he was on fire. The meeting was scheduled. A discreet motel, far from curious eyes. I arrived first. The accelerated heart, the hot skin. I wanted that. And I wanted my cousin to feel what it was to be betrayed by the poison itself. When he entered the room, there was no conversation. The look said everything. He picked me by the waist, leaned against the wall, and left his lips dangerously close to mine. "Are you sure you want that?" he asked, with a voice loaded with desire. I answered in the only possible way. I ran my nails through his chest and teased. Now there is no return. The first kiss came as an explosion. Hot, intense, full of repressed will. His hands explored my body as if I were his long time ago. The adrenaline made me crazy. Every touch, every sigh, every chill made me want more. I was setting fire to my own plan and loving every second. The wrapped sheets, the bodies glued, the sighs. The taste of revenge was sweet, addictive. When the night is over, we stayed there, looking at each other, breathing deep. That game had no return, and for the first time, I wondered if I really wanted it to have. The idea was simple. Use, provoke, get revenge. But I didn't have one thing. I started to like it. The problem was not just his body, the way he got me firm, or how he knew exactly where to touch. The problem was the look, the way he watched me, as if I were the only woman in the world. He started sending messages in the morning. I wondered if I had slept well, if I wanted to have lunch with him. Before, it was just exchanging spicy messages. Now they were conversations. He was getting involved. And me? I tried to convince myself that everything was still a game. But every time I saw his name on the phone screen, I felt that tasty shiver. Until one day he said something that made my heart fire. "If I had known you before her, would things be different?" That was a warning. I was no longer just playing. I was handing me, and then came the worst. He started looking at me differently, treating me differently, and I found myself enjoying it. The plan was not that. But now, I didn't know if I wanted to stop. I knew this was going to happen. Sooner or later, the truth always appears. The first sign came in the messages. My cousin began to post indirect, those very obvious. "Beware of snake created indoors. There are people who are not worth the floor that steps." I laughed. She felt. But then, one day, the inevitable happened. I was in the mall with him, laughing, enjoying the moment when I heard that voice behind me. But what a beautiful surprise. I turned, and there she was. Crossed arms, fulminant look. "Are you having fun? With my boyfriend?" Her voice was loaded with hatred. He froze. I lifted my chin. "And you? Has you fun with my husband?" The silence was deafening. Her face turned red with anger. I knew it was going to have a fight. "You're a bitch," she spat, her eyes full of hatred. "I learned from you," I said with a smile. She advanced. I held firmly. The shack started right there in the middle of the mall. Screams, pushing, people filming, safety separating, people whispers. I left with a smile. Did she think she was going to win this game? Little did she know. The worst was yet to come. After that shack in the mall, my cousin became a demon. She wasn't going to make it cheap. The indirect on social networks became direct attacks. Messages saying I was a slut who had stolen her man, that I was going to pay dearly. I laughed. She was feeling the taste of her own play. But what I didn't expect was that she would counterattack. Suddenly, my phone started ringing nonstop. People asking if it was true. My family calling me the destroyer of homes. My husband, e.g., in this case, sending me a message saying that I had gone too far. And then came the final blow. She appeared at the door of my house with a poisonous smile. Do you think it's over? Honey, I don't lose. I just start again. I narrowed my eyes. We'll see. This is how the war began. She spread rumors. I folded with worse truths. She was trying to expose me. I did worse with her. But there was a difference. I was winning. Her boyfriend was no longer hers. He was mine. And she hated it. But me, I was loving it. And if she thought I was going to stop there, well, she still didn't know what I was able. The war between me and my cousin seems to have no end. Each one tried to give the final blow, but none wanted to give in, until one day something happened. Something I didn't expect. He started to act strange, distant. The messages did not come with the same intensity. The meetings decreased. The game was turning against me. It was on a rainy night that the truth came to light. He called me to talk, and his gaze already said everything. I don't want that anymore. My stomach sank. Like this? He took a deep breath. I liked you, really. But I'm not a prize in a dispute between you. I was speechless. Everything I had done, and now he wanted to get out? My cousin lost. Me too. It was at this moment that I realized no one won this game. The taste of revenge, which was once sweet, now looked bitter. I took a deep breath. It was no use fighting anymore. What was done, but the lesson stayed. I only had one choice: move on. But one thing was certain. I was never going to let someone play with me again. And this time, the only person in control of the game was me. In the end, no one came out victorious from this story. My cousin lost her boyfriend. I lost morals with the family. And he? Well, he just followed his life, as if nothing had happened. Truth is that when we play this kind of game, thinking it is in control, there is always something bigger happening behind it. And in the end, everyone loses. At first, I thought I was in charge. I wanted to see my cousin suffering, wanted her to feel what it was to be betrayed. But in the midst of all this, I ended up losing myself too. Today, looking back, I see how a great waste of time was. The man I tried to conquer did not value the effort. Rivalry with my cousin, it brought me nothing but a headache. But there is one thing I learned. No man is worth this kind of war. If there's something that this story taught me, it is that revenge can even be sweet in the beginning, but in the end, it only leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. And you? Do you think it's worth entering this kind of game? Tell me in the comments.